What's been interesting in all of this is the mass psychosis you see now among Republican elected officials, Republican think tanks like the Heritage Foundation flying the American flag.
Adam Kinzinger went all in on roasting those Republican crybabies who can't handle the fact that Trump got convicted. These folks are losing their minds, and Kinzinger is not holding back.
Please fasten your seatbelts, people, for we're about to enter the bizarre world of political theater and widespread insanity, starring none other than Donald J. Trump and his mob of dumb followers. Adam Kinzinger, who just went all in on ridiculing the Republican whiners who can't cope with the fact that Trump was found guilty, is our tour guide for this trip. Prepare your popcorn. This is going to be an exciting ride.
Adam Kinzinger went all in on roasting those Republican crybabies who can't handle the fact that Trump got convicted. These folks are losing their minds, and Kinzinger is not holding back. He took aim at all of them, sparing no one. But the biggest target of his smackdown was Mike Johnson.
Let's start by discussing the seemingly mass psychosis that the Republican Party is experiencing. It seems like a scenario from a horrible zombie movie. Only change is that these people are chasing any shred of reality, not brains. Kinzinger didn't use words. He attacked Republican lawmakers as well as think tanks such as Heritage Foundation, and he really made a show out of it. But Mike Johnson, the man who's elevated submission to Trump to a whole new level, was his main target for sure. Really, someone needed to jolt him back to reality, and Kinzinger was the perfect person to do it.
Johnson has taken sucking up to Trump to a whole new level, and someone had to bring him back to reality.
From a political standpoint, the entire mass delusion is harmful. You can't help but stare. It's like seeing a train catastrophe in slow motion. Not only is it detrimental to Donald Trump, but it's also weakening public confidence in the legal system. Kinzinger presented a clear and concise analysis, exposing the insincerity and fruitless attempts to justify the unjustifiable. The GOP's collective gasp could practically be heard as Kinzinger ripped them apart. It's really pleasant to see a skilled chef quickly and precisely cut through a spoiled tomato.
This mass psychosis is from a political perspective, just the raw politics, is very damaging probably to Donald Trump in November, because I don't think most Americans are saying, yeah, this mass psychosis is warranted. But secondarily, the damage it's doing to the justice system, the faith in the justice system.
In his great wisdom, Johnson chose to emphasize more about how absurd Trump's allegations were. At this point, his parroting of everything from political witch hunts to electoral fraud is just pathetic. Johnson's actions are not only humiliating, but also extremely dangerous, as Kinzinger made evident. You can't help but shudder when you see an adult man act out in the middle of a supermarket shop.
The American people are. What happened to President Trump is lawfare. There's no other way to describe it. They went after the Democrat Party and they used the system of justice to go after a political opponent. I think that this will probably guarantee that President Trump is reelected president, and I think their strategy is going to backfire on them.
And there's the matter of religion. Man of religion himself, Kinzinger expressed dismay at witnessing someone like Johnson deceive the American people. It's absolutely terrible on so many levels, like witnessing a pastor rob the collection plate. Even for the Republicans, Johnson's antics as Speaker of the House set a new low. To call the day of Trump's conviction a shameful day in American history was the icing on this absurd cake.
As a person of faith myself, I'm very disappointed to see a person of faith lie to the American, especially in such a powerful position, lie about this.
And can we talk about Johnson's latest stunt? Speaker Mike Johnson, second in line after the president and the top Republican on the Hill, called this day a shameful day in America's history.
Johnson wasn't finished, though. During the 7 weeks of Trump's trial, he repeated all of the unfounded accusations made by the defendant in an attempt to create a biased impression of the proceedings. It's repetitive, like listening to the same old song on a broken record. It appears that Johnson and his Republican allies have completely lost all sense of reality. It seems as though they're residing in a different reality, where reality is defined by the individual and facts have no bearing. Kinzinger has been traveling the whole country in the meantime, and you know what? People find this carnival disgusting. The response is the same whether he's in a red or blue state. People are able to see through the GOP's lies. According to certain surveys, people in critical swing states may be less inclined to support Trump if he's found guilty. However, the top campaign strategist at Trump, Brian Hughes, asserted that following the announcement of the ruling, their internet fundraising system attracted an unprecedented amount of supporters. It's similar to saying, hey, our ship's sinking, but look at all these new passengers we just picked up.
That Banana Republic trial going on, these are the things that you expect in third world countries, not in the United States. That should never have happened. That judge should...
Ever the optimist, Johnson thinks Trump needs this legal circus to succeed in his re-election campaign. He claimed that the Democrats had Trump surrounded, but in reality, they had given him a political adrenaline rush. It would be like to offering a lead weight as a lifesaver to a man who's drowning. Kinzinger refused to accept it. He made it quite evident that Johnson and his Republican allies are living in a dreamland by tossing shade left and right. He made the distinction between backing a leader and losing all sense of reality. Kinzinger, a Republican himself, is extremely disturbed by the party's blind allegiance to Trump. It's really depressing to witness someone defend their pet rock as the best invention since sliced bread.
People see right through it. I've been all across the country, north, south, east, west. Doesn't matter whether I'm in a blue state or a red state. People are disgusted by this. They see exactly what's happening. Old chart.
Johnson, however, is certain that more people will cast ballots in favor of them as a result of Trump's conviction. He believes that this will ensure Trump's re-election. It's a losing tactic, akin to staking your entire life savings on a three-legged horse. Johnson appears to think that Trump's prospects of winning the election will be enhanced in some way by this incident. This seems like wishful thinking, but perhaps there's something we're missing. Kinzinger continued after that. He made the observation that none of the Joe Biden supporters would vote for Trump only as a result of these offenses. There is nothing in the Constitution that stops a convicted criminal from holding public office. Thus, Trump is still eligible to run for president. Though, would you really cast a ballot for a felon? It's unexplainable.
But I'm going to tell you what will happen. I predict this will increase turnout on our side. He will win decisively. He will become the next president. He was already, as I said, crushing Joe Biden in the polls. I think as this plays out and people get more and more frustrated about it, I think it will help us, and that huge enthusiasm gap that already existed between the Trump and Biden campaigns.
Johnson seems pretty confident in his stance, like he's got it all figured out. We have no idea how being a convict could actually boost Trump's chances of winning the election.
The country will deliver the final decision on November 5th. The destiny of Trump will be determined by the American people, not by some dubious backroom negotiations. Kinzinger added. Kinzinger doesn't think Johnson and his GOP allies have a strategy, even if they may believe they have. He's not going to stand by and let this type of mindless allegiance cause more harm than good. Let's now discuss the GOP strategies for generating money. Johnson took great pride in the record fundraising figures for the National Republican Congressional Committee, saying that they were the greatest since he took the gavel.
All they're worth. His campaign claims they raked in a little more than $34 million yesterday in donations. It's $1 million per felony, which, had he known that, he probably would have committed more of them.
Then even established a new website, supportdj.com, where supporters could donate money to keep Trump in office. It resembles a perverted kind of GoFundMe, except instead of assisting those in need, it helps a convicted felon's finances. Kinzinger exposed them for their obvious attempt at extortion. He emphasized that in order for Trump to stay afloat, these GOP contributors are being pressed for every last penny.
All you have to do is look at what you see on Twitter or Truth Social, and you see that there is a conspiracy mentality in the GOP. Everything from they're out to get us, the deep state. You know, Donald Trump feeds on being a victim. This small man feeds on his victimness and is convinced his base that they're victims too.
It's similar to witnessing a carnival barker defraud people of their money by using a fixed game. It's astounding that some people genuinely fall for it.
A single person, despite the Twitter chatter you see, which is what the narrative they're trying to get out. I don't think there's a single person that was committed to Joe Biden that because of these felonies has now said, I'm going to vote for Donald.
Then Johnson made a shocking revelation. He urged the Supreme Court to get involved in Trump's appeal, to reverse the ruling, and to provide him protection from prosecution. It would be equivalent to asking the Supreme Court to deem Trump the universe's supreme leader. Kinzinger isn't as convinced as Johnson that his friends on the Supreme Court will step in and save the day. Kinzinger was blunt in his remarks. He made the point that when something doesn't go your way, you can't just go to the Supreme Court. It's risky and unheard of to offer criminal immunity to someone who's committed a crime. It's completely ridiculous, like offering a bank robber a free pass out of jail if he swears not to rob any more banks.
Please 30% of the kind of the most hardcore Trump base, but the rest of America's going, wow, this is weird. So, like, I don't think you're going to see massive shifts in the polls as
Trump may spend 4 years in prison despite all of this, but it's possible that he'll never go through a prison door. The matter may take years to resolve since he'll probably appeal the decision. But let's face it, it's exciting to think of Trump being incarcerated. His legal troubles are many, and his actions during the trial served as a perfect example of how not to behave while under judicial scrutiny. Kinzinger emphasized that we shouldn't take Trump's actions lightly.
people, Republicans particularly, not a ton of them, but some, that are uncomfortable with voting for a convicted felon that can't purchase a weapon, that if he was in the U.S. military would be dishonorably discharged, and is now ineligible had he gone through a security clearance process to get even a basic security clearance.
He disobeyed gag orders, insulted judges, and assaulted individuals. It's comparable to witnessing a kid scream in the middle of a courtroom. Trump is deserving of a swift kick in the ass. Kinzinger further emphasized how ridiculous the GOP's backing of Trump actually is. He made it clear that nobody would acknowledge supporting him in 10 years, similar to regretting a poor fashion decision. You ultimately want to act as though it never occurred.
That the National Republican Congressional Committee, you guys raised $300,000 last night, which eclipses only the day you were elected speaker and you raised $175,000. So obviously, angry voters are motivated.
Ultimately, Kinzinger's point is very clear. It's time to let go of Trump. More suitable than this circus is America. He demanded responsibility from the GOP and criticized them for their compliant devotion. It's about time that someone declares that enough is enough.
The Supreme Court should step in. Obviously, this is totally unprecedented, and it's dangerous to our system. I mean, we've all discussed this before, and y'all talk about it all the time. This is diminishing the American people's faith in our system of justice itself. And to maintain a republic, you have to have that. People have to believe that justice is fair, that there's equal justice under law. They don't see that.
And that's it for now, people. Adam Kinzinger tells the story of Trump and his naive fans. It's a tale of widespread insanity, shameless fundraising, and a last-ditch effort to hold on to power. But in the end, the American people will have the last word and the truth will win out. We'll simply have to relax, enjoy the performance, and hold on to the hope for a better tomorrow in the meantime. So what do you guys think? Is the Trump chapter finally over? Let us know in the comment section below. We'll keep you updated with all the latest developments regarding this situation. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you're notified as soon as we upload our next video. Thanks for watching.